Okay, my student, now we are proceed looking on the looking on the classification of the type, looking on the classification of the sensory receptor based on the location of the stimuli they detect, and thereby on the last session we try to look on the proprioceptor, that is the final receptor which is found within it, and thereby I promise you in this session is when I will begin to look on the structure of the proprioceptors. We have seen that the proprioceptors, they are found in the internal environment of the organism, specifically within the muscles. So it's detecting the stretching of the muscles. So now you can see this one is our arms. Huu ndio mkono wa mtu. So now stretching of these muscles, that is the spindle, that is muscle spindle, and here we have the tendon. So by stretching, either contracting the muscles, ndipo ambapo sasa this one information will be sent into the brain so that the brain can interpret what kind of stretching is that, or what kind of response that the arm need. Kwa hiyo sasa ita provide appropriate response either for taking such kind of substance and so on. So that is the function of the proprioceptors. So here you have to note that proprioceptors, they are there because of detecting the internal changes that are occurring within the body, specifically within the muscles. So my student, you have to be very careful in differentiating between the proprioceptors and the interoceptors. So they are just like zinafanana lakini hazifanani. So you have to differentiate them. So my student, after we have seen now the sensory receptor, and that marks the end of the type C of sensory receptor. We have seen A, B, and C. And within it, there is a lot of receptors. We have discussed all of those and we have finished. So my student, also in this session, we are going to deal with we are going to start looking on the mammalian eye. That is the sense organ which is found within the animal. That is mammalian eye. That is found within the class mammal. So tunaenda kuangalia lile jicho la binadamu au jicho la mamo yoyote. That we are talking about cows, we are talking about cats, we are talking about dogs. All of those, they are mammals. So specifically here, we are going to see the mammalian eye. So now we are saying that the eye is the sense organ which receives light of various wavelengths, then refracted from the object at varying distance in the visual field and convert it into electrical impulse. Kwa hiyo sasa mammalian eye tunasema kwamba jicho la binadamu liko responsible, linafanya kazi ya kureceive, kupokea mwanga kutoka nje, thereafter kutafsiri ule mwanga una maana gani au kile object ina maana gani, thereafter to send those impulses to the brain, that is electrical impulse. Kutoka kwenye light impulse to electrical impulse, so that it can be easily interpreted by the brain. So in this figure now is when we're going to see the mammalian eye. That is figure 4.27. The structure will describe the mammalian eye. So now we can say that within the mammalian eye we have the optical nerves. That optical nerves ndizo ambazo ziko responsible kwa ajili ya kutransmit or transfer the electrical impulse to the brain. So now let's see the explanation. We are saying that optical nerves transmit the impulse or this impulse to the brain where an image of remarkable precision is perceived. So within the brain is where now the remarkable precision of the image is already perceived. Kwa maana kwamba kwenye brain inakuwa isha receive. Kwa maana kwamba ule pale ni mti. The brain has already perceived, but due to the electrical impulse from the eye is where now can interpret that is the tree. Ipo upright, ina majani mengi and so on. That is the function of the brain. But its function is due to the presence of the nerves impulse, or the optical nerves that will transmit the electrical impulse from the eye to the brain, so that it can be easily interpreted and provide appropriate response of what that the image mean. So now, my student, we can say that the principal functions of the eye, almost eye inakuwa na kazi kuu tatu. The first function of the eye, here we are saying that controlling the amount of the eye entering it. Inafanya kazi ya kucontrol kiwango cha mwanga unaoweza ukaingia directly kwenye jicho. Hiyo ni kazi kuu ya jicho. Lakini another function of the eye here, we are saying that focusing image from the external world by means of the lens system. So within the eye there is a lens. So the lens its function, we can say that focusing the image from the external world by means. Kwa inakuwa inatambulisha ile image ni ya kitu gani. So hiyo ni kazi kubwa ya jicho na parts zile zinazo facilitate jicho kufanya kazi yake vizuri. Specifically we are talking about the lens. And the last function of the eye here, we can say that processing the captured image into a pattern that can be seen. Kwa inafanya kuprocess ile image mpaka unaweza ukaona clearly kwamba hii ni image ya mti au hii ni image ya kite, kwa sababu tu the eye has already interpret that is the image of the dog, or that is the image of the cat. So that is the function of the eye. So if you have been asked within your exam that explain or write the examples, or we can say that explain the function of the eye, or the main function of the eye, those one are the main function of the eye. So make sure that unaziandika kwa usahihi zaidi. So as I promise you that we're going to see the figure 4.727, that is the vertical section of the human eye. Hili ndilo jicho la binadamu, ambapo kwenye jicho la binadamu it consists of the several parts. And one of it, we have conjunctiva, we have iris, we have lens, we have pupil, we have a cornea, we have sensory ligament, we have also ciliary body, we have the extrinsic muscle, we have retina is where now the image are processed. We have the optic nerves responsible for transmitting the impulse to the brain, that is electrical impulse into the brain. And also we have the blind spot. And also we have the fovea, we have the choroid, we have the sclera. And within it we have the vitreous hammer, that is aqueous material which are found within the eye, are called vitreous hammer. So my student, after we have seen now the vertical section of the eye, and I have to give you one secret, my student. In biology, as I have said, any diagram that you see in the marks. So make sure that you know to draw this diagram, because you can be asked into your exam. It can be mock exam, it can be joint exam, it can be nectar exam. So it can come this question. So make sure that you know to draw the word diagram of the human eye and to label them. So after we have seen the structure now of the vertical eye, and now I would like to take you through another thing which is very important in understanding the mammalian eye. And this is, we're saying that the eye accommodation. Eye accommodation. It's not accommodation that you know, that is eye accommodation. So we have to know, what is this accommodation, or what is the eye accommodation? And now we are saying that the eye accommodation, this is the reflex mechanism by which light rays from an object are brought to focus into the retina. So hii tunasema ni reflex mechanism or adjustment of the eye structure so that the image can be seen into the retina correctly. Tunasema kwamba kitu rahisi kwenye biology is to understand the thing. Thereafter you can explain on whatever you need. Hapa tumesema kwamba this one is a reflex mechanism by which the light rays from an object are brought to focus into the retina. Uwezo wa jicho kutambua kitu fulani kina maana gani kwenye retina. You know that within the retina is where now there is different kinds of receptor that are detecting the presence of light and to give appropriate response. So that is the eye accommodation. For example, here you can see how the eye focuses the mechanism of accommodation. Eye has all ability to focus the distant object and the nearby object. So now you can see here, this one is a nearby object. This one is our eye. And now you can see, in focusing the nearby object, the eye responds by giving different kinds of changes. So now here you can see we have this spherical lens. So hile lens ina become spherical. Kwa inakuwa mduara. Thereafter the light enter their eyes, and thereafter now you can see within the retina, now this image is reflected back. And now also apart from that near object, also we have far object. Eye inafanya mechanism mbalimbali kuweza kuona kitu kilichokuwa mbali zaidi na wewe. And here now you can see here, this one is our tree, that is an object. Now this is eye. Now you can see the eye flatten lens. Ina flatten ile lens kwa ajili ya accommodate ile image ingie kwa urahisi zaidi ndani ya jicho na kutafsiriwa kwa urahisi zaidi. But now you have to know that within the eye accommodation we have almost two processes. And the first process, it is called the reflex adjustment of the pupil size, and the second process, it is called the refraction of the light rays. So my student, all of this process, or these two processes of the eye accommodation, we are going to begin them in the next session. So in our today's session, thank you for following us, Educate TZ. Bye bye, have a nice moment.